Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan. Got a ton of stuff to talk about tonight, but first, let me go ahead and bring the boys on with me. It's three of us tonight. Let me go ahead and bring my co-host in. He has forgotten more baseball than I will ever know. Let me bring my man, Seven in. Seven, what's up? How you doing? Seven, you with me? Oh, let me go ahead and bring in my... Let me go ahead and bring... Oh, there he is. Let me bring him again, everybody. Seven, what's up, man? What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Hey, I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Man, I have to say, I know we're going to be talking about it, but LeBron's decision is almost as confusing as Whitney going back to Bobby Brown.
Oh, damn. Oh, my goodness. Let me go ahead and bring my man, Ando. Ando, what's up? How you doing?
Can you guys hear me?
I got you. Can you hear me?
Seven, can you hear me? Nope, Seven can't hear me. I was going to say, but Seven kind of peeled off. Seven is so good on the sports reports that he requires 2 entrances. We're going to give him a third to see if this one works. And if this doesn't work, we're going to have to pull LeBron and introduce him 4 different times.
Damn.
And see what happens. But yeah, we'll definitely get into that. Hopefully Seven can get in here. So.
All right. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. Okay, and I'm going to see if I can bring Seven back in here. I heard he just popped back in. Seven, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. My phone's being weird. What's up? How are you, sir?
You good, man? I'm doing good. How about you?
What kind of phone is it, Seven?
It's a cell phone.
No, like what kind of cell phone? Samsung, Motorola, TCL. If it's TCL, that's the problem.
No, it's I have a Galaxy Note 20.
Oh, well, no, so it shouldn't be a phone issue. I was going to say, if it's a TCL, you need to toss that brick to the side, bro.
No,
Yeah, Will and I know. We've been in the cell phone game for so long, so.
Oh, yeah, TCL ain't nothing. All right, let's go ahead and get into the main story of the night. We got LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million deal. Seven, I'll start with you. What does this mean for Philadelphia as well as the rest of the NBA?
So I think that Philadelphia definitely set some fear in the rest of the East, at least. I have to say, though, that it honestly doesn't make sense. If he was willing to take less money, which was something that none of us expected, we figured he was going to want to go for what a guy of his caliber was worth, truly in the market. The better choice, I feel like, would have been Golden State. I think LeBron on that roster is a heck of a lot more of a nuisance than LeBron with the 76ers and part-time Embiid. It doesn't make sense to me, but I think that it puts the rest of the NBA on notice, because when somebody of LeBron's caliber chooses something like that, when there were options that looked better on paper, like Golden State, like Cleveland, like Miami, there has got to be something there that they aren't seeing. Now, is that what we talked about? What was that, 2 weeks ago? where he's going to get more out of Embiid than we've been seeing the last couple of years? Is it that they're still going to be making some other trades to build around him? I don't know, but I feel like this just tells the NBA that for all of the fact that Philly wasn't really seen as somebody to take super serious, LeBron sees something that the others don't.
First of all, real quick before I go to you, Endo, to get your thoughts on this, so I just want to welcome everybody to the stream. How you guys doing? Appreciate you coming over from Passion and Precision. Appreciate you guys coming through. Let me go ahead and go to Endo. Endo, what do you think about this?
I'm with 7. It doesn't make sense. Nothing about this move to me enhances James' career in any way, shape, or form. He's not going to be the number one. I think we agreed with that last week and the week before. He's not going to be the number one in Philadelphia, not with Jaylen Brown now being there. Tyrese Maxey, I think, has kind of laid his claim to being the number one. I would argue Joel Embiid could be number one if the guy decided to play back-to-backs and be healthy, but he's not going to be. So he's going to be second, third, fourth option. I would argue, third. He could be the third option. And it's going to be the first time in his career he's going to be a third option, right? I think seven kind of put me in, like, especially the last 2 years in LA with Luka being there, it kind of brought LeBron down into the second fiddle. I don't know how LeBron's legacy can increase with him being the third wheel. Michael was never the third wheel. Magic was never the third wheel. Larry was never the third wheel. Kobe, in the twilight of his career, was never the third wheel.
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say about Kobe?
Well, no, what I was going to say, because when you look at those guys, though, they didn't have to be. They retired before it came to that point. LeBron just doesn't want to stop playing. I mean, he's that ex-girlfriend that won't leave the house. She'll still put out, but she understands that you're going on a date with other people at the same time. She just doesn't want to move. Yeah. And I think that and also when you look at the drop-off of Jordan, like let's be honest here. When Jordan went from the Bulls to the Wizards,
yeah.
That it's almost like they're completely different players. Yeah. And when we look at Kobe, there wasn't really a drop off for Kobe because Kobe retired before that became a thing.
Yeah, we saw his health get affected more than his ability to play. Yeah,
exactly. And so to me that's something where they didn't have to. I would argue that maybe if Jordan would have gone instead of the Wizards to a team where he was the 2 or the 3,
yeah,
and it was and he was still making more impact there, because when he was on the Wizards, he was still treated like the 1. He was still demanding to be the 1. When he was in his 40s, he should not have been the 1. I'm not trying to doubt the greatness of Michael Jordan. What I'm saying is every single athlete in the history of ever has a decline at some point. LeBron understands his limit, and so he knows that it's better if he goes where he's the 3.
Yeah.
Because if he tries to be the 1, they're not going to get anywhere.
No.
So Jordan should have been the 2 or the 3 on a team at minimum if he was going to stay, and not what happened with the Wizards.
Yeah.
Kobe didn't have to because he stepped away before it became a necessity.
Yeah. Money-wise, okay, LeBron's only going to make $8 million a year in Philadelphia. Like, why?
That's $8 million for 2 years, for a year.
Yeah. So obviously, the owner Josh Harris and the general manager Ganzi are working something behind the scenes. Something I believe we're not getting. There's something that we're not getting. There's a piece to this puzzle that we're not getting. And I think legacy-wise, it's not going to help. I mean, the only thing you can say is if LeBron does somehow win the title with Philadelphia, he becomes the first person to win a title with 4 different teams. He's already the first person to win a title with 3 different teams and win NBA Finals MVP as that team's champion.
Yep.
I don't think. Congrats, pat on the back. You did it 4 times. Great. I don't see that as being a legacy. I don't see that being a legacy for LeBron, right? You won 4 championships or 5 championships with 4 different teams. I would say the championship he won in Cleveland was his Magnus Opum. I think that is the best title that he could have won. Take away his 2 titles from Miami and his bubble ring in LA. That is the biggest title. If he would have retired after he left Cleveland the first time, you can make an argument of top 2, or I would say top 2. Again, I'm always going to say Jordan is GOAT. This just hinders his legacy. Longevity, great. That's awesome. But we're playing in an era now where careers are so much longer.
Right.
Exactly. What were you going to say, Seven?
So first of all, yes, we can there's kind of it's a double-edged sword with the whole 4 rings with 4 different, he's got rings with 4 different teams. Because how many of us have a family member that's been through 4 different marriages? We all, none of them look great. But the other thing that I will say is this. The only thing that could possibly help his legacy with the sign with Philly is if they manage to go back to back. Then the discussion changes because he is at 6 rings. And obviously the Jordan thing is always going to be 6 for 6. I get that. But I'm also one where I fervently believe the number of times, yes, he lost in the finals a bunch of times, but he made the finals.
Yeah.
That's still a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then some are also going to say, yeah, Jordan, him making the finals and then losing is like getting engaged and not, walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
So I get both sides of that. But if he gets back-to-back rings in Philly and is a dominant presence on both rosters, you can start to look at having more of a positive impact on the legacy of LeBron James.
Okay.
But and for the Jordan stands are going to come at me in the comments. I'm not saying he passes Jordan.
But you make a better argument.
But the argument is there. You move more people to the middle from both sides. Yeah. At least that's my argument.
I would love to say that the comparison with Jordan and LeBron is like Montana and Brady. That's about, shit.
That's not fair to Montana, though.
Well, Montana was 4 for 4 in Super Bowls. Jordan was 6 for 6.
Right, but when you look at Brady won so many rings. He had so much more talent. He had a better organization behind him. Right. Montana did not have the resources. So the Montana Brady thing for me is you can't compare the two because you're really talking about 2 different games.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's 2 different eras because in Brady's time, the NFL has evolved into more of a passing league.
Yeah.
Whereas you have the 49ers and you had Roger Craig. You had Roger Craig running the football. I mean, hell, for the most part, Roger Craig would have been the best running back Tom Brady would have ever had.
Yeah.
You can also make the argument that the defense didn't have to play on pins and needles. Like the defense could headhunt in the 80s and 90s. You couldn't. You can't do that now.
Right. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, that was a huge advantage. And Brady himself has said that he would not have lasted as long in Montana's era because of the physicality of that era versus the protection that he got. He has openly admitted that. So, for me, the back on topic, the debate of LeBron and Michael, having grown up with Michael and be like Mike and watching them play, watching Barkley play because I grew up in Phoenix and a Suns fan. There is so much of a difference in the era. They're different games. And yeah, there's that, 2-year overlap where LeBron and Jordan were in the same league. Jordan was a shell of himself. And people can come at me all they want, but it's the truth. Go look at the numbers.
I think it was one. I think it was only 1 year because I think Jordan retired in 03-04 and James was drafted in 03 and 04.
Okay, so all right.
And it's very possible. I think Jordan was hurt for the 2 games that they played against Cleveland. So
they were. Yeah, he was. I don't think they even played against each other in that time. No. So, but my argument is the NBA was different in those eras. So just like with those two, in truth, we can't compare because it's so much of a different game. The era that LeBron has played in, the foul has been used more of a strategy than it was in Jordan's era, where you just punched a dude in the mouth and went on about the game.
Right.
No,
You know,
so,
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I just checked it up. Jordan retired at the end of the 2003 season. April 16th was his final game with the Wizards. LeBron was drafted July 20 or June 26th of 2003. So
okay, so there was no overlap.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
I couldn't remember if there was a year or two or not. So
hey, you and I both thought there was a year. So
I want to ask you this because I know you're definitely a hardcore as a hardcore Jordan fan.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I look at him separately, and I don't know why more people don't. Let's say we take a look at this Phillies roster this year. You've got Embiid, you've got Maxey, you've got Jaylen Brown, you've got LeBron, and these guys run the East for 2 straight years and bring the cup home both times.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to really think differently about LeBron James than the way you do now?
No. I will still think he is the greatest ring chaser of all time. That's the only great he gets from me.
So, so you hold that against Shaq too, right?
Hold it against Shaq too, because you look at his later years, he was trying to do the same thing.
And you hold it against Jordan too.
He can also,
you hold it against the Bulls too.
I don't hold it against Jordan.
Oh, come on.
I don't, because everyone knows he wasn't going to win with Washington. That was more of a promotion.
No, I'm talking about all the talent that he had them bring him. He was still chasing rings. He was just running on his own track and making them bring him the support.
Oh, you mean
Jordan didn't have a problem with Chicago until those final 2 years?
Until the final 2 years when Cross said he wasn't going to break him up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about.
I think what Seven is saying is instead of him leaving Chicago to go chase rings, he brought the talent to Chicago to chase. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, because it was that you cannot tell me that even 4 of the 6 rings were all homegrown talent. It was not. They brought support into Jordan. The difference is he just didn't have to move it each time.
So
I would say the first 3 was more of a homegrown thing. But I say that. But the last 3 of his rings, I would consider those super teams, but not the first 3.
But and here's the other thing. How many opportunities did LeBron James give Cleveland before he left the first time to bring the talent to him? He was there for 10 years, carrying that team.
He was
giving him the opportunity, and then he went to Miami because they weren't bringing the talent to him. Yeah. So he said, "Screw it, I'm going to go to them. My girl's not going to come to my house and give me that nookie. I'm going to find a girl that is." That's what LeBron says. That's literally what it was. Right. And so I can understand to a point the criticism of LeBron for moving teams, but we can't pretend like this. He was the only one that was trying to get a ring the whole time.
What's up, Kyle? How you doing, man?
Can we just say that sometimes I don't think Seven should be on the show because that dude has a damn good point to make?
But like
again, when he puts it like that, I mean,
but my point is,
but no, Will, I got to agree with Seven to a certain point. If Cleveland the first time around does not do LeBron the way that they do, the best co-person that he had in the first 7 years in Cleveland, Zundre Ilgauskas? No, that's he might be an all-star. Mo Williams, maybe. Antoine Jameson was not going to help him win a ring. Shaquille O'Neal at that age was not going to help him win a ring. And LeBron at that point, he knows that his legacy is going to be, if you don't give me the talent to help out.
What's up, Evan?
Seven, why do you do that, man?
And that's the thing is, go ahead, sorry.
My thing is this, though. When you go back and you really look at it at the end of the day, I still think that Michael stayed those first 6 seasons So by him staying those first 6 seasons, and remember when he got there, the Bulls were trash. When he got there, they were trash.
How long was it LeBron in Cleveland before that's the first time? 7 years.
10.
Yeah.
So he gave them the time. The difference is the Bulls decided to build. The Cavs didn't. And we all have to remember, when LeBron left in 2010, the original decision when he went to Miami, he took his talents to South Beach, not a single person that is a real NBA fan went, oh, he's being a ring chaser. Everybody, even Cleveland, diehard Cleveland fans were like, dude, you deserve better. I don't blame you for leaving. So why is it that now, fucking almost 20 years later, all of a sudden, he's a ring chaser? He gave Cleveland every opportunity. He gave LA every opportunity. He took less money. He took less money this time. So again, I look at them as two separate eras. I will never say that one is better than the other. And I'm a hardcore Kobe fan, so I will throw that argument in as well myself. But we can't look at what LeBron and Jordan did as one is better than the other, because they did the same thing. The difference is the Bulls, when Jordan said, hey, bring me the talent, the Bulls brought him the talent. When LeBron said, bring me the talent, the Cavaliers said, hey, we got cinnamon on chili outside. You want to go try it?
But let me ask you this. Is that Jordan's fault?
It's not Jordan's fault, but is it LeBron's fault?
You can't blame LeBron.
Can't blame
you can't blame him, and that's my argument.
But that's my point.
It's not
Mike for that. You know,
I don't blame Michael. I don't blame Shaq for going to LA to play with Kobe. We don't criticize Shaq for leaving and going to LA to play with Kobe.
No, the Shaq going to LA, the Magic fucked that up. The organization fucked that up.
They did, but it was later. It was later that I hold Shaq it's later. After Miami.
I would argue he was fine until he left Miami.
After Miami, he should have hung it up after Miami.
I don't blame him for wanting. I mean, these guys, if they want to play and the resources are there, that's like getting mad because somebody's sick of working at McDonald's and they go, they can get a management job at Burger King and still do what they want to do and make a little bit more money, or actually have an impact on how the crew's running.
Jory, what's up?
What's up, Jory? We don't lay into somebody like that. So it's not LeBron. It's not LeBron's fault, because here's the thing: if Cleveland builds properly around LeBron during that first stint when he was in Cleveland from 2003 to 2010, you can't tell me if that front office was doing things the right way. LeBron goes to South Beach. The decision never happens. He did not want to leave.
Understood.
But now we're going to criticize for just doing what any of the rest of us would do.
I think
he can still drop 25 a game.
I think the fact that this is his fourth team is being held against him. I think that's the main issue that is being held against him. And I will give you this, though. He is going to a team that was already a good roster. He's not coming there to tear up the roster. The roster is already good. So it's not like he got to the Lakers and everybody got gone to bring AD in. He's going to try to win with the talent he has on that team. So I will give LeBron that. Y'all know I ain't the biggest LeBron James fan at all, but I will give him props on that he's not coming in to the Philadelphia 76ers trying to tear that roster up. I'll give him that. My problem, and as I put in our chat here, I think this son of I think with his signing, you might stun Tyrese Maxey's growth.
I don't think so. Nick Nurse is a good enough coach. I think if Nick is smart, he is going to leave. If Nick is smart, he's going to leave Maxey at the one. They're going to build around Maxey. And I think secretly that's part of the reason why LeBron chose Philadelphia is because now he doesn't have to shoulder the load. I think if anything, Maxey is going to learn from what LeBron's going to do. And I got to agree with 7. I'm really hoping that he's right about this, is that LeBron will whoop Embiid back into basketball shape. And that Embiid's last 2 years of, I'm not going to play back-to-back.
I'm not going to play back-to-backs. No back-to-backs.
No back-to-backs.
No. But we can't ignore the fact, and this is where the thing with Embiid becomes an issue. We were talking about this in the wire-to-wire chat. Embiid's knees are fucked. His knees are worse than a whore on $2 Tuesday after she's been working all weekend. Like, you can't tell me Embiid is in a position where he's going to have the verticality that he needs to have to play down in the post. Like this, and so that would be the one piece where I would say was LeBron's condition. You got to get the best you can for Embiid and get me a different center.
With the money
and here's the question.
With the money that they have, with the money that they have tied into Embiid, they're not going to go after another center. Not with the money that they have tied. If he was $20 million cheaper, I could go with it. But they're paying him what, 54 and then 57 million over the next 2 years. They're going to keep him.
Here's the question: if somebody's going to take Embiid on a trade, so let's a hypothetical question here. Somebody's willing to take Embiid on a trade, but you've got to eat. Let's say you've got to eat 20, 25 million of that contract to get rid of him. If you're the Phillies, do you take that trade and go grab a more capable center that's going to have the verticality, that's going to have the get back to be able to make it to where you're not having to rely on the get back of LeBron, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaylen Brown to keep your defense from hemorrhaging points, and those three having to combine for 100 plus and hoping you get another 40 to 50 off your bench to be able to stay in it.
My problem is my issue is 2 parts with Embiid. First, like Kyle said, who's taking on a new contract? That's number 1.
You're right.
Number 2, who is left out there? Robinson from the Knicks is gone. Ayton's a wizard.
He doesn't want Ayton. He doesn't want Ayton. He'd rather keep that.
I know he don't. But I'm just trying to figure out who could come in there and fill that role that's not already a part of another team.
Oh, and that's where it becomes tough. So that's what I'm saying. Like that would be the only spot. And if let's see the Phillies, sorry, the 76ers.
Thank you. I was going to correct you on that.
My bad.
Baseball.
It's trade deadline season. I'm watching for alerts. If the Sixers can find somebody in a deal that makes sense for Embiid, and they're able to, and that's the piece that they change. And you find a center that's going to work in what they're trying to do. Are you going to criticize the breakup of that piece?
We know, Jerry.
Yeah, we know. Yeah. It's not going to be Ayton, man. Ayton's softer than an 80-year-old dick with no Viagra in sight. Like, and people can get mad at me for saying that. I watched him as a Suns fan. Ayton can kiss my black ass. I do not care. But if Philly can make a deal that makes sense,
not holding nothing back. Not holding a damn thing back.
If they can make a deal that makes sense, they grab another center. Is LeBron going to get criticized for another team getting broken up? Because Embiid needs to be gone anyway. Like, even without LeBron going, Philly should have gotten rid of Embiid. He should have gotten that contract. But is this going to be another criticism of LeBron because they found a way out from under Embiid and found their way into a more respectable, useful center?
Right.
Who's to say with the depth that Philadelphia has, right? They got to have somebody who is the guy that they picked up from Cleveland? I want to say now, Evan. No, Drew doesn't sound.
No.
Even if you could move Embiid, all you would get is someone else's bad contract. This is
this is where it's all speculation of what is, and you're probably not going to be able to get out from under him. So you have to hope that LeBron's going to be able to get him off his ass and be like, look, dude. I need 70 games out of you.
At least.
At least. Because that whole thing of, no back-to-backs, I'm only playing 20 minutes a game. That shit can't fly in this offense and then on this roster. It can't. Not if you're really trying to get LeBron at least one more.
Right.
I'm gonna see if they have the updated Philadelphia roster here.
ESPN's been taking a minute to update those rosters for the NBA with it. Because I didn't see it last time I looked, but I could be wrong.
Okay, yeah. So they did have it updated. Dean Wade was who I was thinking about.
Okay.
So you put Dean Wade at the center position, and I know he's a little short, but I like how he played in Cleveland. Especially
what is he, like 6'5"?
I want to say 6'7".
Okay.
Oh no, 6'9". The dude's 6'9".
Okay, so that's not short. But you want your center around there.
As long as he's not 6'7", 6'7". Fucking
oh God.
Kid. Yep. But yeah, so your starting five as it stands right now is Tyrese at the point. They have VJ Edgecombe at the shoot. Excuse me. VJ Edgecombe at the shooting guard. Jaylen Brown at the small forward. LeBron at the power forward, and Joel Embiid at the center. Your next five up is KCP, Dean Wade, Adam Bona, whoever the hell that is, Anthony Simmons, and
Anthony Simmons still plays basketball?
Yep, he's their backup point guard. He's their backup shooting guard. And then LeBaron Fillion Jr. So if Embiid goes down, I like Dean Wade at the center.
Yeah, he'll get to start when Embiid's not playing.
Who's to say the team doesn't play better with Wade at the center, LeBron at the 4, and they bring Embiid off if Embiid is coming off another injury, because heaven forbid it's Embiid, so he gets hurt. Embiid could be that guy that comes off the bench and gets you 15 points in 15 minutes.
Embiid's not coming off the bench as a $40 million a year player. That's not happening.
Yeah, that's okay.
Kyle, you stupid.
Kyle,
barbecue chicken.
Kyle, would you prefer to have a person who's going to be consistently there and maybe with LeBron gets better as the season goes on, or have a guy there who's going to play 30, 40 games out of the year? I'd prefer to have Wade if he's going to give me better production at the end of the season.
You're going to get 30 to 40 games at a Wade at a minimum anyway because of Embiid going down or not working back-to-backs and stuff like that. Unless Embiid's actually going to commit to that 60, 70 games at a minimum, you're going to get a eyeful out of Dean Wade this season.
Yeah.
No matter what. So you got to hope that LeBron can help lift him up.
LeBron's got a lot on his plate. And then I'm gonna bring up something that no one's touched yet. And we've all watched the 76ers play and go through this. Those guys are an injury-riddled team each and every season. And we're not talking about just Embiid. We've talked about Maxey missed time in the past. Embiid has missed time in the past. I just think that, yes, is this the best offseason in best offseason for the 76ers in league history? Sure. But
probably
at the same point, it ain't a guarantee. Look, the Knicks are still rolling around. They probably got the best team chemistry ever. Boston is still there. There's still some teams out there that can cause some havoc. So
Chicago, what? Did I say that out loud?
Nah.
Caleb Wilson is going to be MVP of the season, guys. You just watch.
Hey, Patrick Williams is going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Just wait.
Patty Williams better be off the fucking team by the time I'm playing. We had a whole P-Dub episode last week. We don't need that shit. Get that. As what is it? It's Michael Clark Duncan and Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil energy on me, Ricky Bobby. We don't need that. We don't fucking need that.
Oh my goodness. No. Oh my goodness gracious.
You know how long I've been a Chicago fan, Kyle. You know how long I've been a Chicago fan. You ain't gonna tell me to take a lap. And if I take a lap, it's gonna be me spinning around in this fucking chair, bro.
Oh my goodness gracious. I just think that Bulls, the Bulls will probably be a fun team while you bullshit. I think it'll be fun to watch. I think our boy will be rookie, could be a strong consideration of rookie of the year.
Yeah.
But they ain't doing nothing.
They might be playing champions again. Oh wait, that's
they
right.
are making come on
last year.
In the NBA's top 20 in the NBA's power rankings, just in the East, they were ranked 13th.
Yeah.
So no,
and that's saying something because what the Wizards usually suck. The Nets are going to be a bad team this year.
Yep.
The Nets are probably ranked higher than the Bills, or than the Bulls.
Yeah,
I would bet the Nets are like 11 or 12.
When I looked at it earlier, the Nets were one spot down.
Yeah.
Oh, so they had the Nets at 14?
Yep. One spot down from the Bulls.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm okay.
Yep. But then again, the Nets are based out of Brooklyn, and the Jets and the Giants and
I'm not disagreeing with the ranking. I'm just surprised that they actually were a little bit more realistic. Yeah. Sometimes those spots will try to pull something like, but they'll put them up a couple of spots just to get people talking about it, that clickbait crap. So it's okay. All right. No, I can respect it.
But yeah, I just think that this isn't a guarantee. They get because LeBron's injury history in itself is well documented. Embiid's
especially in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and Embiid's injury history is well documented. So we have to see Jaylen Brown being there is going to be, he's going to have to stay healthy. Hopefully he don't get the injury bug. We'll see what they do. Now, you already talked about that. Let me go over with you guys these ESPN layoffs. Me and Seven talked about that in chat last week. Ando, let me get your thoughts on that. Then Seven, I'll come to you.
It sucks, but those guys are good. Most of those guys are good, so I think they'll find better jobs. The only one I'm kind of really questioning the firing is obviously Ryan Clark. I don't know. Maybe it's just the odd guy in the group, but I liked Ryan Clark's takes, except for his Cowboys saying they were going to win the Super Bowl. I don't know what he was thinking with that. Maybe he was thinking he wasn't getting drug tested, and technically he didn't. He just got fired. You
can't be doing crack on there, man. Just go.
What are you talking about, man? I don't have white stuff on my lips. But no, it sucks, but it's a business at the end of the day. They're going to make business decisions that I don't think people are always going to agree with. But part of being a professional in what you do, you got to be ready for shit like that. I could be ready for Walmart to move on from me tomorrow, and I'm going to have a game plan. I'm going to have my resume updated just in case. So, I don't watch ESPN a whole hell of a lot anymore. Hell, I think about the only time I watch ESPN is Monday Night Football because I like Joe and Troy. So yeah, I mean, I don't watch baseball as often as I do. Sports Center doesn't have the same fling, so I don't watch that anymore. And just about the only thing I really would watch anymore is 30 for 30. But I mean, you can catch those ESPN apps, so I don't have to watch the show for it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I just think the one that hit me, because Ron, you could sort of kind of make a case, Ron, you kind of did it to yourself, but the one that got me at 7, you were saying he should have retired anyway. But Carl Ravage, that's the one that killed me. That man,
the baseball guy, right? The baseball guy?
That man was with you for 33 years.
Carl Ravage did a few different things, but my biggest issue is the way that ESPN does these guys dirty. I understand that you're supposed to be the worldwide leader, but when you've got guys like Carl Ravitch, you've got there were multiple multiple on-air personalities that ESPN let go that have been there for 20 plus years. You let Ryan Clark go in the middle of a segment. And some of these guys were finding out from the press that they got fired. Like that to me is absolutely crazy. I can't for the life of me justify that kind of behavior. And then when you add in that it seems like a lot of this is coming from the fact that they're going so much more all in on Pat McAfee. I don't hate Pat McAfee. I think that his approach is definitely better than what we get out of jackasses like Stephen A. Smith. But me personally, you could have fired Stephen A. Smith, had Ryan Clark take his role, and still put a bunch of money into Pat McAfee's show and gotten a better result. I'm not the biggest Ryan Clark fan myself, but I can't justify how they did him, how they did a lot of those people, and Stephen A. Smith, who is just awful. The opinion that he has of himself. Like, if I could have a fraction of his self-confidence, I wouldn't wince every time I look in the fucking mirror. Like, I don't understand how this dude can think his shit doesn't stink the way he does. The only thing that I agree with him on is the fact that he makes fun of the Cowboys, which I think that brings all of us joy. Like, that's the one redeeming quality of Stephen A. Smith. But
And
the
how
way
he
that
makes fun of the
ESPN,
Cowboys.
oh yeah, yes. I mean, he does it very well. But how they did their people. These are people like when you work for ESPN, it is a sacrifice. It is a grind. The amount of hours and BS and politics and everything that you have to deal with to work for the E.
Mm-hmm.
And to get done dirty like that is just mind-blowing to me. Like, that's what I get stuck on. Like, and as sports fans need to do something about this. And this is what I'll say with this other, and then you can you can go from there, Will. That as sports fans, we've been able to pressure a lot of things into happening within the sports world, especially sports talk, pressuring teams into doing certain things. You know, the way that they're changing the way that media looks, all of these things. Fans have been able to pressure. But ESPN has been doing personalities dirty like this for years. There have been stories that have come out where ESPN employees were out doing something, not just out doing something, and their devices messed up because of a technical glitch going on, and they weren't able to access their devices, and they thought they had been fired because that was always the sign: was your work phone stops working, you lose access to your work email, and you didn't even know.
That's crazy.
How are we gonna let companies do these guys like that?
That's crazy.
That's the biggest issue for me.
Oh, I never heard that one. I've never heard that before. Wow.
It's been a few years since the last one came out, but yeah, that's what they would do. They would disable all of your devices, and and then when you called in through your personal device to get help, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, you're not an employee anymore. You need to bring everything back in."
Wow. Oh, hold on a second. It's Anderson. Yeah. You need to bring everything into the office. You don't work for us anymore. What? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We're letting you know right now. You no longer have a job. Like,
multiple times. Yeah. And as sports fans, like go ahead. Sorry.
That's the equivalent of you walking up to like your job and trying to sign in and your badge doesn't work. So then you have to go to HR and be like, "Yo, what's going on?" "Oh, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Sit down.
You're fired."
Yeah, sit down. We got to
We gotta have a conversation, Mr. Anderson.
To do somebody dirty like that, it like that's the kind of stuff where, like, if ESPN came to me tomorrow, I was like, "Hey, we want to make you a part of our baseball coverage," I'd be like, "No, I'm good. I know how you treat your employees."
I think a few guys will be okay. Guys that have their own platforms or competition, looking for people at the right time. I think Carl Ravage will be fine. He'll go over to NBC. I think Ryan Clark will be fine. He has to pivot. I think Cam,
and that's a really good show.
Oh yeah. I think Cam Newton will be fine. He has his own little part, his podcast. I think it's 4th and 10 or something like that. 4th and 1, something to that effect.
4th and 1, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he'll be fine. I think Stephania Bell will be fine. She was there for a minute. She said something like that hurt me too, because I'm a huge fantasy football fan. And now we're not gonna have her for her injury analysis. And I just thought that, why I do my girl Stephania Bell like that? Come on, man.
Well, I mean, and like Stephania, I mean, like here's the thing: is some of these guys, like, yeah, they can do other stuff. Like Stephania can start a fantasy pod.
Yeah,
and she'll get some traction, but she's gonna have to. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and she's another one that can also find work elsewhere. Barstool maybe. Like
Barstool, but I mean, so you go from working for one of the shittiest brands in sports to working for Barstool that's run by Dave Portnoy, who's one of the most horrible people in sports talk in existence.
He is.
If I watched that man get hit by a bus, I would giggle and tip the bus driver. I cannot stand Dave Portnoy and the way he talks about sports, the way he treats people. I will say he is, more often than not, he can be a champion for his people. And I don't think that Dave Portnoy would do ESPN personalities the way that they do. But the way that he comes off, I just can't stand him. Yeah. Personally, I think she would be better off just doing her own thing, because you've got these companies that are itching for more sports content and to pull those sports pods away from being under the umbrella of the ESPN. So like New Wave Media or iHeart or Spotify and stuff like that. Like they're gonna grab some of that stuff.
I'd rather get fired from ESPN than work at Barstool.
And like that's And Kyle and I are both avid Red Sox fans, and we cannot stand Dave Portnoy. And that's just the way it is. But you're not going to get, Stephania is not going to make ESPN money.
No,
with her fantasy sports podcast. She could change to where she's doing fantasy sports for NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball, so that she's literally going year round.
Yeah, someone could catch her Netflix. Yeah. And she may end up over at ESPN with Matthew Berry. So she might end up with him too. Fox Sports is another one. Mm-hmm.
Fox Sports, yeah. There's definitely some potential, but for them to do these guys dirty like that, as sports fans, we've got to advocate for these personalities, because they speak to us all in different ways.
Yep.
And
I forgot. They clipped Charles Davis.
Yeah.
Bruh.
And Booger McFarland still has a job.
Yeah. I was just getting ready to say that. He still has
You're not my type, Ando. I've told you that before. How does Booger McFarland still have a fucking job?
So, Seven, I can answer that question for you, impersonating Booger McFarland. I still have a job because I have enough nude pictures of corporate people who work up in the desk. So I blackmail them to keep my job so that I can still be on ESPN Countdown and do the very poor Tom Jackson of NFL Primetime with Chris Berman. That's my answer and why I have a job.
I just think ESPN, and I don't think they're doing all this because ESPN is going under. I just think they're changing their strategy to have people. I just think they're bringing people in who have their own audience to bring over. I think that's what they're doing. Instead of having in-house people trying to gain an audience, they're trying to bring people in that already have that audience. And
but here's the thing, and I'll say this because, like in the restaurant industry, when places are looking to hire a bartender,
right?
There's two different types of bartenders. There's good bartenders and there's bartenders with a following. Good bartenders are going to take care of your customers and make your business better.
Yeah.
Bartenders with a following are going to bring people in, but your customers are going to leave because that bartender sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And when that bartender inevitably leaves because somebody else dangles another carrot in front of them, your business is going to be left by the wayside. When you look at like Pat McAfee. Something is going to happen at some point where that bubble's going to pop.
Right.
I have utmost respect for Pat McAfee. Like I said, I think that he approaches things in a great way. The bubble is going to pop, and you're going to get an aged out. You're going to have an aged out frat boy that stands there holding a baseball bat, talking into the camera, and that luster isn't going to hit the same, and those ratings are going to drop. Right. And then you're going to have Taylor Lewan and Will Compton sitting there asking the same fucking questions to every athlete that comes through, telling the same stories, and it's going to get old. Carl Ravitch was there for 33 years and had the respect of the sports talk community because he was entertaining. Dan Patrick is able to sustain on his own because he is entertaining. He evolves. Rich Eisen is entertaining. He evolves.
Yep.
And I can tell you that if you watch the first episode of the second season of Will and Taylor's show and watch yesterday, or whatever the most recent episode is, the format is the exact same. If you watch Pat McAfee's show, there are some differences, but it's the same shit.
Right. Gotcha.
And Carl Ravitch could paint a picture. Carl Ravitch could talk to you about what was going on in an objective way. That's one of the biggest things that's getting lost with all of these changes is the objective analysts are going by the wayside.
Don't let me get on TV.
No, we're putting Jory on TV. We're putting Jory on TV. I want to hear her. She needs to do an hour diatribe of the Titans every single week. I would watch that. And I'm not a Titans fan.
That would be more entertaining than watching the Titans play. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
Be more entertaining than anything Barstool Sports is putting out right now.
Be more entertaining than watching an Alabama quarterback in the NFL. I'm just trying to get her going in the chat.
Be more entertaining than watching the Mariners play baseball this week.
That's very true.
Oh my God.
Be more entertaining than watching anything the Mets do.
Didn't they win today, though?
Honestly, I haven't even looked at today's score.
I think they beat
I haven't even looked.
They were up 9-3.
The Braves are kind of just struggling right now. We'll talk about
They are.
The thing for me is that the objectivity is going farther and farther away.
What's up, man? Welcome to the stream.
Because some of these guys are No, Patrick Mahomes has already been cleared. He's back. It's not. Justin Fields is going to be sitting on the sidelines.
Yep. Patrick has been officially cleared. He was at practice this week.
He's going to be full participant on Wednesday.
Go ahead, I'll let you finish. Then we'll go about the Chiefs.
No. I was just going to say the thing for me is this is going to blow up in their face. At the end of the day, it's going to blow up in their face.
I think
and so too. They're not going to know what hit them. They're going to act. They're going to be all surprised, and the rest of us are going to be like, "This is karma." End of the day, this is karma.
I'll just try. And look, I'm not. And I've said this before. I'm not a big proponent of people losing their job, but I got a question: how the hell Malik Andrews still got a job? I know Kendrick Perkins is leaving on his own, but how is Malik Andrews still got a job? I was trying to figure that out.
Kendrick Perkins is leaving on his own. It's just going to take him a while to get to the elevator so he can get the fuck out.
Kendrick Perkins is on his way to order a 3-piece. And that 3-piece is really a 30-piece bucket.
Why would y'all put Pat in that situation? 18 national championships. but I don't understand how she still has a job. I don't get it. I just think she's terrible. I do want to go ahead and bring this up about the Chiefs real quick. Chiefs assistant Erica Bieniemy's son charged in shooting of his mother to authorities. The mother is under stable condition. So I'm happy for that. You guys have any thoughts about that? You guys are Chief fans.
You want to take it first? You want me to do it?
Yeah, dude. First off, I didn't read too much into the details. It sounds like, and this is going to be a weak ass excuse, and I don't really care. It sounds like mental health was a big part of it. Which again, guys, don't shoulder shit on your own. Get the help that you need. Find somebody that you can talk to.
Exactly.
Also, gun safety. We got to find a way to fucking get that locked down. It's a grown ass adult, so he should have known better. But still, that being said, I'm just glad nobody died. And I hope Mrs. Bienemy makes a full recovery.
Big Perk is a big idiot. Hell yeah, big idiot.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is a big idiot. Him and Rashawn McCants, jackasses. Well, go ahead,
Jory, I'm going to challenge you. Can you throw up that all my QBs got rings? Greg McElroy does not have a ring, so your theory is incomplete.
Don't piss her off, please.
Why are we going back to that?
Because it's Greg fucking McElroy. All right.
Why are we going back to that?
Greg
Don't.
fucking
McElroy.
Greg
I
rest my case.
I'm gonna put you in timeout.
You know what? Send me to fucking HR 7. You know what? I'll put myself in HR. Here
When
we go.
the last time we saw him? When was the last time we saw him in college?
And now I'm muted.
In college.
Oh, the sound of silence. Okay.
Oh my god.
If I remember correctly, this is not the first time that EB's had issues with his son. I can't remember specifics, and I didn't have time to do the research that I wanted to do on this one. But if I remember correctly, there was a situation a few years ago where they had a problem with him. And
he is too, Jerry.
I can't, obviously you can't, explain away what the kid did. Shooting your own mother is not something that you can just forgive, unless there was, extenuating circumstances where he's an adult and she's still abusing him, and there was an abusive childhood while EB was off, being a football coach. Then, God damn it, Kyle.
No, I'm taking myself out of timeout. Fuck you, Kyle. That's inappropriate. That's two different sports we're fucking talking about, sir. Keep the fucking Mariners' names out of your goddamn mouth. All right, I'm going back in timeout.
For me, obviously, mental health, when we talk about mental health issues and something like this, it's not an excuse. We've talked about this on First Generation Dad when you and I were doing that before. Having a mental health issue is not an excuse to be a piece of shit.
Exactly.
It may be an explanation for why you weren't able to better control your urges, but it is not an excuse for being a piece of shit. And that kid had access to every resource imaginable.
Yep.
But one could go, and obviously one could go back to the way that mental health is viewed in the Black community. We talked about that a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't explain his behavior. It doesn't excuse his behavior. And obviously, Andy Reid's comments today, he has an understanding of what it's like to have a son who's a piece of shit. So, Big Red's right there with him. He understands. And we can't just immediately go after EB and the mom on this, because there are plenty of examples of parents throughout history that did everything they could, provided every resource that they could, and their child turned out to be trash, turned out to be a criminal, turned out to be a non-contributing member of society.
Exactly.
And so for me to, my thoughts first are with Mrs. Bienemy and with EB as they deal with this, because this is something that, regardless of the circumstances, rattles a family. I hope that this was not connected to any abuse or anything within the home. If it was, it doesn't excuse the behavior, but I hope that that's not what it is, because the Chief, nobody deserves to be that. The Chiefs don't want that kind of look on their light, any of that. Like, there's a plethora of reasons why we don't want that to be a thing. But ultimately, I'm glad that Mrs. Bieniemy is stable and is on the mend. I'm glad that the son is in custody and that they're working on these charges. But
Yes.
the other thing is a person doesn't just shoot someone. That doesn't just happen.
Right.
I'm going to be very interested to find out what information comes out publicly about this as to what caused it. Was this literally a situation of this kid was just broken? Is that really what it was? That happens, but it's not very common, especially in when you've got a family that has means, like the Bieniemy family. Because even though EB had been gone from the NFL for a few years, he was still making millions of dollars in college football. He still made millions of dollars from the NFL before.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you have a kid that's that broken when you have access to those means? What happened here?
Right. That's what we have to break down. It's very rare that you have.
And Jory's correct, and that's where my question comes into. Because, and you've got, when you look at EB, the way that he coaches is not for everybody. He is a hard ass. Was he too much of a hard ass at home?
Right.
Was Mrs. Bieniemy too much of a hard ass?
Like, couldn't separate the two.
Right. And it happens. We've seen it. You have a public official that's a hard ass in their day job, and then they go home and they beat their kids, they beat their wives. It doesn't excuse the behavior, but we can kind of understand where things come from. So I'm waiting before I absolve anybody or completely condemn anybody. I want more information, because like Jory said, people don't just snap and do stuff like that for no reason. There's got to be more to this story that we aren't aware of right now. That's going to be very impactful to how we see all three of them moving forward.
I just think that, first of all, like I say, sentiments out to the family. I'm glad the mother is fine. But at the end of the day, we really need to find out what happened, to be fair to both parties. And you're right, mental health doesn't give you the license to be a jackass. It doesn't give you the license to be an asshole at all. If you need that help, get help. Maybe the mother and maybe the dad couldn't separate the field and home. I don't know if that was the case. Could have been. Really need to see what's going on and what's going on to get all the information. Hopefully we'll be able to circle back to this. I got one more thing and then we'll get into the baseball. Around there was an NFL writer who came up with an all underage 25 team. And I thought this was interesting. I'll just go over a few of these names, see if you guys agree with those. Quarterback Drake May, New England Patriots. Atlanta running back Bijan Robinson. Detroit running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks.
I think he turns 25 this year.
Yeah. Wide receiving Jackson Smith and Jigma from the Seahawks. Carolina Panthers receiver Tate McMillan. Love Tate McMillan. I love Tate McMillan.
I like him.
Good talent. I like him too. Brock Bowers from the Oakland Raiders at tight end when he's healthy. Then flex spot Devon A-Chain. Kind of like a fantasy football flex. Offensive line Joe Alt, Josh Simmons, you should know from the Chiefs. Tyler Booker, Gray Zabral, and Tanner Bortonelli. He did defense too, but I just did offense. But do we agree? Do we agree with that team?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know like one or two other people that they could have put in spots so you can compare them. But just based off of the initial list, yeah, I totally can agree with that.
Yeah, I think.
What about Kyle Pitts? How old is he?
He's been in the league for like 5 years, so I think he's 25 or 26.
I would say, man, he might be older, and that's one where I was like, what about it? And then
I'll take a look. Hold on.
Is Drake May really the best choice? That would be my one question. Is when you look at quarterbacks in the league that are 25 and under, they're
he's 25 right now.
Okay, all right.
He
so
turns 26 in October.
Okay. So
my question would be: is Drake May the best choice for a quarterback under 25?
Probably so.
I mean, because how much of his success this year?
No, I'm going to say looking at the list right now, there's two I definitely would put ahead of Drake May. One of them is CJ Stroud. And then the other one is Trevor Lawrence is 25 right now.
Okay, so how old is CJ?
23.
Okay. I actually would take Drake May over CJ Stroud. I'm a big CJ Stroud fan.
Okay.
See, and here's the thing. CJ Stroud has had some really good rosters in Houston.
Okay.
And has fallen short. It may not have directly only been him that fell short, but that team collectively fell short.
Yeah.
All Drake May had to do in New England this year was just not be a complete shit.
Anyway.
A moderately acceptable quarterback is going to be successful on that roster.
Hold on. I gotta fight Kyle here. First off, again, your boy does not take laps. Second off, I would totally take Trevor Lawrence over Drake May. Absolutely.
Hold on.
CJ Stroud sure is a coin toss. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence every day of the week. Man.
Hold on. We're not looking at Caleb Williams though.
Caleb Williams isn't under 25.
I thought he was 25.
No, according to Copilot, who I did my search under, the key young quarterbacks at the age of 25 or younger is CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Spencer Rattler, who you should know very well for the Saints very well, so that's why I didn't say it. Number 9, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., who was also 25, and then Drake May. Actually, let me double check and see how old Caleb Williams is. Hold on.
He's 24.
Caleb Williams is 26.
He's 24.
Is Caleb Williams 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says Caleb Williams. Yeah, dude, I would totally take Caleb Williams. I would take Caleb Williams over Drake May.
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, and Kyle, I'm sorry, buddy, but objectively, that's tough because Drake May fell into a really good situation. And you can't look at that and tell me that Caleb Williams couldn't at least perform to the same level with that same roster. You really can't.
He did do better. His rookie year, he was a big old pile of crap, and then he turned it around this year.
That's tough.
And learned that offense faster than I thought he would.
Yeah,
Caleb Williams.
And that's the thing. Like, we all busted on Caleb Williams, but he's actually handled business recently, and I respect it. And that's where I kind of have to take because all things equal, you put Caleb Williams on that offense. Could he do the same or better than Drake May? The answer, in my opinion, is yes. And Kyle, I know you're not going to hear me say that. I get it, buddy. I understand. But I'm sorry. I can't see Drake May doing better than Caleb Williams does on that same roster. I really can't.
Nobody said it was going to be a good situation before the season.
You're right. But that team's success wasn't dependent on what Drake May did. That was collectively all of those guys coming in and, listening to what Mike Vrabel had to say when he wasn't on top of Diana Rossini.
Or Diana Rossini wasn't on top of him.
Right. I mean, it could go either way.
Or behind her, I suppose. You could do behind her, too.
There's a lot of imagery. Personally, I would have wanted to look her in the eye, so I would have been a little bit more limited myself. But anyway.
You think she's ugly?
No, I'm not saying I would have wanted to look her in the eye.
You would have wanted her.
I think all Seven is trying to say is if the podium is deep enough, he could have been slamming her underneath the podium, look down, as if
full Bill Clinton is on the table at this point. What I'm saying though is for me, all things equal, when you look at that roster with how those other players performed, could Caleb Williams have done the same or better? The answer is yes.
My issue is too, look at that schedule they had.
No, miss me with schedule arguments. They didn't pick their schedule.
This is true.
And again,
too. Go ahead, Seven.
Again, I'm saying all things equal. You take Drake May off of that same roster and put Caleb Williams in. Everything else is the same.
Let me see what he says. My beef was about Taylor Lawrence. Caleb Williams is an argument I can listen to.
Oh yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. Oh, Sunshine, no. Sunshine ain't carrying that team.
I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no. Sunshine, I'm out on. Caleb Williams, though, I could, yeah.
That's tough.
That is tough.
And
again, I'm not saying that I'm taking Caleb over Drake.
Right.
What I'm saying is I don't know that I immediately go for Drake May out of those two.
Right.
That may literally come down to a coin flip.
Definitely a thought process.
I would take Drake or Caleb over CJ Stroud, hands down.
CJ Stroud is definitely third in that too. Yeah, 100%.
Now the argument that I would make is I think Trevor definitely had a big improvement this year compared to what he did last year and the year before. I think with him playing with Liam Cohen and opening up the playbook, and I think we'll see better improvement from BTJ and Travis Hunter this year as a wide receiver. I'm gonna stand by what I said. I like Trevor over both of those guys, personally speaking.
I would love to see what CJ can do with a line.
Yeah.
And that's the other hard part is the CJ is still at a point he's young enough in his run, and their line has been an issue. You're still giving credit to Joe Burrow for it, and he's had to deal with that problem a lot longer than CJ has. Right. So you do have to take that into consideration. But from a pure talent standpoint, based on what I've seen, the CJ is third out of those three when it comes to Drake, Caleb, and CJ for me right now. Now, I very well could be wrong. And I've been married long enough to know that I am wrong a fucking ton. But I cannot take CJ Stroud over either one of them just based on the way we've seen him perform this last year. I can't.
It's tough, man.
Because even if you look at decision making as a factor, like I could say that like I decision making by Drake May, I would actually say edges out Caleb Williams a little bit, but they both have better decision making than CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Or Trevor Lawrence.
It's just to me.
Fair.
I want to see that decision making with a good line. That's what I want to see. That's all I want to see. If they can do an offense, if they can improve the line, I want to see what CJ can do. But right now, as it stands, that man running for his life.
Yep.
That man running for his life. They can't run block. They can't pass block or run block. Can't stop the run again without line.
Well, and that's the thing is Chiefs fans, we understand the difficulty of having a shitty line and not your quarterback not having the time. And not everybody's going to be as good as Patrick Mahomes, right, where he's going to be able to make the play, make the improvising. CJ doesn't have the improvising skill because, he learned at Ohio State. You don't improvise in Ryan Day's offense. You do what you're told.
Yep.
And now you get with, you've got him as a defense. He's got a defensive head coach in DeMeco Ryan. DeMeco Ryan has done some great things with that defense. Don't get me wrong. I respect the hell out of him for that. But they should have a far better option as your offensive coordinator in Houston if you really and a true quarterback, Kevin O'Connell type. I'm not saying Kevin because he's head coach. He's where he should be. I'm saying that type of a guy as your offensive coordinator to really get what you're going to get out of CJ Stroud.
Right. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how that top team of 25 goes through their career. It's going to be interesting to watch. All right, Seven, what you got for us in the land of the MLB?
So there was a trade that happened the other day, and I wanted to talk about it. And I want to ask you guys a question to start it off, because this is going to be baseball related, but I'm going to, for the purposes of this question, I'm going to leave it open to any sport. Can you think of an example? Any sport, any professional sport. So any of them, and you guys don't really talk hockey, so we'll say football, baseball, or basketball, where a team made a trade and overpaid for what they got, and the trade still worked into their favor.
Ooh,
that's tough.
Originally, before you said it worked out in both teams' favor, I was going to say the Vikings getting fleeced for Herschel Walker. But that
I'm talking
in their favor.
Right. So I'm talking. Well, no, you were a player. You traded for a player. A team traded for a player, and they overpaid.
Yeah.
And the overpayments it still worked into their favor. So I'm talking like when Rashard Lewis in 2007 in the NBA.
Yeah, when he got traded from
the Magic to the Heat.
The Magic to the Heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Or Tobias Harris is another example.
So, like, for example, is if Shaq got traded from the Lakers to the Heat, and the Lakers would have won a ring at the same time the Heat would have won a ring, something like that, right?
No, I'm talking like Shaq gets traded to the Heat. The Heat overpaid for Shaq.
Yeah.
The Heat win a ring because of Shaq.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you overpaid, but it ended up working into your favor despite the fact that you
okay.
overpaid.
So it didn't work for both teams. It worked for the team that overpaid for the item. Yeah, I would say
right.
Probably is the first one. I'm sure the Yankees have done it once or twice, overpaid for somebody. Because it's the Yankees. They do that all the time. Yeah, I would go with Shaq and the Heat, I think, is the number one option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Red Sox made a trade on Saturday night. It's either Friday or Saturday. I think it was Saturday. They traded one of the younger stud pitchers. He was a top 100 prospect going into the season, Connolly Early, to the Washington Nationals for an infield player named Curtis Mead. Curtis Mead was questionable the early part of the season, actually got cut from the White Sox earlier this year. Nationals signed him. He started to kind of work his way out, started to find his bat. Defensively, still not the best, but kind of getting things done. And then has, within the last 6 weeks, his bat has really found his groove. He's hitting high 240s, low 250s now on the season. Bunch of bombs recently. And the market for right-handed hitters this year, for those of you that are baseball fans, the trade market for right-handed hitters is only going to get worse. The price for Curtis Mead was the price for Curtis Mead because other teams were offering a lot for Curtis Mead. That's the first thing you got to remember. That doesn't just a GM doesn't just go, oh, you've got a Honda Santa Fe. Well, here, let me offer you this Ferrari for the Santa Fe. It's they're going to start. Oh, I've got a Del Sol. The Del Sol. We're like, no, well, somebody's already offered me a Bentley. Well, shit, now I got to up the offer. Like that's how these things work. That's how the negotiation works.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for me, it's It's just one of those things where, on the surface, Boston overplayed. Some say some are going to say that they got fleeced. But my other thing is, I think if you get out of him what you need, was it a bad thing to overpay? And like Kyle said, couldn't you say Bennett's emergence with Crochet coming back made Early available? I think Early was the odd man out. I expected Early to get traded. I saw him pitch when I went to the game in Kansas City, and I think that he is a great young stud. But I think that it's hard for me to question Craig Breslow's eyes when it comes to pitching. He is not doing well when it comes to hitting. Save Wilson Contreras was probably one of his best signings in his young tenure. But for me, is it a bad thing to overpay in a trade if you get what you need in return? Andrew, what do you think?
I don't know, man. Go ahead, Will.
It's tough because if he gets you to the situation of winning now, then you win now and suffer the consequences later. Because if you're overpaying for somebody, you losing out on something. You losing out on a draft pick. You're losing out free agency money. You losing out on something that could keep you in the game. But if you're to the point right now where you need this to put you over the hump, to get you to that spot to win now, you got to take it, man. You got to take it and deal with that consequence later.
Yeah. If you can win a ring now, I mean, a ring at the end of the day, whether it's this year, next year, or the year after, at some point, your whole objective is to win a ring.
Exactly. If your franchise is being run correctly, that's your goal.
Right. Right. So I don't think it's a wrong move if it gets you to the goal of winning a championship. Now,
right.
I think what you kind of put the fear into is like, let's say you make it to the ALDS, or you have that Cinderella season like the Mariners have, right? You lose in the ALCS. Would he been that one piece that had we not traded, would we have made it before? Would we have made it that far? But then you got to look at it the other end of, because of what we got or maybe what we didn't have, we had to kind of depend on the pieces that we did have. You start playing both sides of the coin of, we made it this far, but had we have gone that far, had we not have made the deal?
Because I mean, like for me, you have to weigh what you're overpaying. Because like Kyle said, in this situation, it's a player per player, and so you're not losing out. So really, what you're losing out is, because with me, he's kind of a journeyman at this point already at 25. So that's not always the best situation. But we've talked about where situation matters, and this may just be where this could very well be where the situation is best for him, and he comes out even more. But the Boston isn't losing draft capital. What they lost is Connolly Early is going to be a decent pitcher in the league. He's, I would say, there's multiple rosters in the league where he's probably a 3 or a 4. He's at the very least of 3, a 3 or a 4 starter in most rotations in the league. Mm-hmm. Some of them that are really stacked, like if you look more like LA or in New York when it's fully healthy, stuff like that, then you might look towards 4 or 5. But he is a dominant starting pitcher, and he definitely deserves to be in the rotation for a guy that's essential, and he's young. He's in his early 20s. So you're looking at potentially 10 years of dominance at a minimum for a guy that, unless he has that huge growth, you're probably going to have him at most 2 years. But he fills a need that the team has with a more consistent right-handed bat and somebody that can play in the infield with a little bit more confidence and experience.
He feels the need to be successful.
He does fill the need. And when you look at a roster like, when you're looking at teams like the Red Sox, like the Yankees, like the Dodgers, the top tier programs in the league, sometimes you got to pay more to fill that need because the other teams are going to go, we know you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you know, if Jake Paul walks up and says, man, I want to give you $500 for your cell phone because my cell phone just crapped out and I need something now. You're going to look at Jake Paul and go, bro, you're giving me $2,000 in cash right now. And you're going to tweet my shit out so that I can gain some attention. Mm-hmm. He's paying more for that phone than you're like, oh, I'm going to sell this to a single mom that needs a reliable cell phone on Facebook Marketplace. Like, there's a difference there in what the charge is going to be. We all know it. So, and I'm not criticizing it. It is what it is. It's business.
Right.
That's what it is. It's business. So, yeah. So, you know, and I'll ask you this. It's a player for player swap. So last year, you're the Mariners sitting at the deadline. You have that one piece, and we're on. Actually, the arms of the Red Sox prospect system are ridiculous. Kyson Witherspoon, that kid is going to come up next year or the year after and is going to blow people away. Like, there's a handful of pitchers in the Red Sox farm system right now that are top 10 prospects. So, but Ando, that one piece that the Mariners needed last year, which is probably really a bullpen arm and a bat.
Yeah.
Okay. You can get those pieces, but you have to overpay. Your team will still have the pieces that they need to win the title. So that's key thing here. You're not losing another piece that would keep you that's going to keep you from winning it. You're still going to be in position to win. Are you willing to overpay to get that piece, knowing that it could be the piece that gets you over the hump and gets you to the dance?
If it's a piece I'm missing, absolutely.
Okay.
I'd be willing to take that shot.
Well, what do you think?
Yep. If it gets me to where I need to be to get over the hump, I'm taking the shot now and dealing with the consequences later, no matter what the consequences look like.
And that's the thing is, in truth, the consequences, like it's not as bad as it could be with some of them. And that's my opinion on this whole trade. Like, is it an overpayment? Absolutely, because I think that they should have at least gotten some picks or maybe a prospect, you know, that's not ranked or something else back, along with Curtis Mead for Connolly early, because Connolly has a rocket of an arm. However, when you have to overpay for something that gets the job done, sometimes it's necessary. That's just my personal opinion.
I agree.
AUSL championship was this weekend. Utah Blaze won for the second straight year. They have the two best arms in professional softball right now, and I think that they're only going to get better next season. We're going to be talking more about that on Wednesday on Podcast Named Before. We're going to have Erica back to join us and discuss what's going on in the AUSL. And if there's an opportunity, we might talk about the start of the Women's Professional Baseball League that's coming next month. I think it's in just a few weeks. And, this season, no, you're 100% correct, Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if you are a fan of the movie The Sandlot, a trailer dropped yesterday. A bunch of the guys that were the kids in The Sandlot, obviously they're adults now. They are doing a show called Dugout Dads where they're coaches of Little League teams. And Danielle Fishel, Topanga, who caused all of us to have some carpal tunnel when we were going through puberty, plays the wife of the guy that played Ham, the great Hambino, the catcher on The Sandlot. That's his wife on the show.
Okay.
Squints would have made a better husband. I'm sorry.
Well, but he would be cheating on Wendy, and we can't have that.
Okay. Fair enough.
But that trailer dropped yesterday. That show comes out on August 26th. And the trailer's worth watching. It looks interesting. And if you don't follow Patrick Renna, the guy that played Hamilton Porter on The Sandlot on TikTok, you should. because he comes out with some really funny videos. And especially recently because they've been working on the show. He's been doing stuff with the guys from the Sandlot. A lot of the guys came back, and it's some really funny stuff. So he's worth a follow.
All right. If there is nothing else, I want to say thank you to Wild Wide Network for having us in their home. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate all you guys coming out in the chat. We do appreciate it. Real quick, this show is brought to you by Razer microphones and their new Razer Siren V3 Pro. Definitely check that out, Razer.com. And we will see you guys again next week right here on the Sports Report Podcast. Everyone have a great week. Have a safe week. See you next week. Take care.